Good morning, it is Tuesday, July. I think it should still say Tuesday, July on there. Can't barely see it. Don't go around doing out that you're not supposed to be. Right, still working my way through my project. Still got to fix that. I've got the wings to sort out on that. Got the engine. And the reason I'm recording it is because other people might be in the same problem, having the same struggle in their lives somewhere down the line. Now, I bought in error originally a 350. And there's the head gasket, so if anybody out there needs some of them, just get in touch, because there's some there that they can have. Right, because I don't need 350, see. I've got a 305 in there and over there, so I do not need those. So seriously, anybody needs one of any of them, just get in touch and we'll sort something out for it. Right, this is what I'm getting. My brain feels like I've got no fucking oxygen in my head. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's no air coming through, and it makes you fall asleep all the time. These ones, I bought another set of them for that one. A different set of head gaskets, a different set of inlets, and that's the 350 one. I just had to buy them ones because of this one. See, that one would work, but it would be very restricted. And those ones are not for that one down here. You know, the Burt Reynolds one. So the Burt Reynolds one's big and sucks a lot of air in. Whereas with them sort of generations, they're trying to make us that sort of generation where like breathing through a fucking pipe. You don't want to be breathing through a pipe, because that's to be your mother and father, your grandmother, you know what I mean? Thee and your mother, or the mother and your father and thee. The mother and your father and thee. Eventually it comes down to thee on the own, and they don't want to be breathing through a fucking pipe, I'll tell you. But what I'm saying is that is basically that. It's exactly the same, except the seal around there, you might have been able to flip that over a minute. Is that going to fit? Is what I'm thinking in my mind. Would I have been able to use that? Yep, I would have been able to just put that there and cut around it with Stanley knife or scalpel, just to get that hole to be that sort of size, just so that the inlet can get the fuel into the engine. See, you have to get the fuel into the engine, but it'd be very restricted in the middle. Whereas that's not as restricted. It does look more restricted than that, but in it with our mums and dads get more money and more respect compared to us. Look how far away we are from each other. That one, that'd be me. That might be you. Look at the gap in the middle. Somebody else in the middle, in hospital, breathing through a fucking pipe. Whereas I'm over here, and that over there. Think how far away that goes. Unless you team together to figure it out, to get it so that you can overlap your sends, to keep this information going back to base, to whomever it is that can get that to you. See, now I've got two of them, and two of them, where I've only got to use one of them, but I've got two of them. We've not gone as deep down in this store as this before. Never had one of them. We've only rented one, and it was a bloody threaded rod job. So got a threaded rod, and it used to wind it up and wind it down, and we rented it from down at bottom half at Manor when we were doing an engine on the mini Metro. It was me and my father. Right, when I went to car show over there in Rotherham, there were guys selling loads and loads of them, and I was going to speak to him, but there were too many of them and it was too noisy, and I thought, oh, I can't be bothered. I'll do it on the internet. It's so much easier to get it off the internet. So basically it's just look on eBay, find a product, and you have to specify what it is, and that's the bolts. It's the life of a bolt. But if you look at these bolts and the bolts that we just got, they're stainless ones, like one my dad would provide me, a bag of them. You see, slightly different length to original ones. See, one's slightly shorter than the other one. Could make a big difference, that. But that, there's only left me two of them. Them ones won't fit that. You know what I mean? That part there on the actual carburetor, or any other holes, for instance. It's just where inlet manifold goes all the way down there, and that's the central breathing pipe. You know, what I'm talking about, that allows a bit more fuel to get into cylinder head. So it's like our head. That's my head, or that's thy head, and it's like restricted. Something's restricting that sort of flow. So I'm just going back to standard exercise routine in swimming baths or swimming pools and that, just to get my old brains working right by walking up and down to my own swimming pool. That's my swimming baths. So it goes back to the Church Mouse books. I'll see that'll be like a cat drinking milk or something. And that's how he's made his money. He's made his money by selling cartoons. So as you can see, that I thought that dipstick want to come right to the front, but with the right sort of bracket, I might have to fabricate myself. It might come up between exhaust manifold. So I'll have to wait and find out. But this is where I'm at the moment. Weird and wonderful explanations that are not being presented to us on the web. You know what I mean? That's what the problem is. Now I'm thinking about putting some posts in outside front of the house with some things, and that'll be the bit that goes into the floor, totally separate project, and that bit screws into wood. I don't think that's going to be substantial enough for a post that's as tall as that, because posts are like as big as that. So then that little tiny screw holding all that in at the bottom with just that little tiny thing, and then it ties it all together. Yeah, to look good, it'd feel quite solid. Get it about 4 or 5 years, it'd be rickety and to be dangerous, it'd fall down. Alright indoors, you know, when you're fitting banisters on inside a house. But when you're coming to do it outside, and then having to use some of this grippy stuff, chemical grippy stuff, to actually hold it in position, that might be more stress than it's worth. Might as well just build a brick wall instead. So, it's the same old thing, trying to find an explanation as to what it is you're thinking about. I've got a sheet of metal there, and it's dangerous to my hands. This is what we've been thinking about inside my own head. Because if I was to cut that, I'll just get a flash on. If I was to cut that out on that wing, look at the contours and look at how it's all fixed on. It's a very simple, straightforward repair patch, that. So I'll just chop it all out, build another patch, insert it, weld it on. You know what I mean? Just chop it all out, build another patch and weld it in. But it's dangerous to my skin, dangerous to my hands. At my old age, my hands, I mean, if it cuts through the tendons and that, then you're fucked. You have to believe that you can do the job. Just like what Eddie Jordan were talking about, believe. Otherwise it just never gets done, because otherwise I'm spending 45 quid and driving around in 45, roll 45. So it's like a patch on that, and it's a non-structural part of the car. Whereas on 45 I took all wings off, I patched all the wings up, and all inner wings are ground out and patched all of them up, and it took me a hell of a long time to do. Whereas on this one it's either spend 50 quid or something on a wing and bang a wing on, and then just get through MOT, and then somebody else will go, well, get shut. And then break it down a bit more. It is gates shut. What did he shut down? What did gates shut down? What gates did we start with? What gates did you start with? How long ago was it? And how much time have you got left on your batteries to explain what's going on to somebody else, so that we can read it in the comment box? I'll use it. Petrol. Comes in green. Well, I painted it black. Looks like Night Rider. I use a jerry can, and I washed that inlet manifold down in exactly the same way that I've washed down the rest of it, and it'll come out looking as nice and shiny as it does, but it still doesn't float up in the air and land into there. And it is like going up to the swimming pool and talking to a slug or a snail, and having to assign a name to a slug or a snail, because you're not talking back. It's like just sat there listening, and viewing figures goes up, and you think, I'm talking to a slug, I'm talking to a snail, I'm talking to a worm. And you think to yourself, well, if I were to collect all of them, who buys slugs, who buys snails? I don't fucking want to hate to my sin. I certainly don't want to have to keep on doing battle against him all the time. You know what I mean?